When it comes to frugality, there are pitfalls which appear to be good and helpful, but in reality are not. In this video, we're going to talk about common concepts, which in reality are supposed to work good for frugal people, but in reality, they don't. I'll share some stories when these exact tactics happen to us, and how you can avoid being lured by them. One of these has cost us more money than the others, so stay tuned for that one. Before addressing this issue, I'd like to talk about our most recent pitfall, and that was literally a fall that Hope took down in the basement while we were finishing up our recording on Monday's video. She accidentally tripped over some things that were on the floor because the room wasn't lit up. The lights had gone down, and we don't have a light switch near our editing room. She ended up in the hospital ER with 3 fractures to her left arm. So she's upstairs and she's in bed. She can sit up, she can do a few things, but she's in quite a bit of discomfort from that fall. I'm Larry from Under the Median, where every week we talk about practical frugality. Let's get to the topic of pitfalls in frugality. These are things that can kind of hang you up and keep you from really living the frugal lifestyle. One of the traps, and it's very common in our society, is 0% interest, either on credit cards or on car loans. We'll go into a little bit more detail on the car loans. But just think about credit cards. You get 0% interest. But what you don't figure on is what the APR is going to be after that runs out and you end up paying full interest on those loans if you haven't paid them off in time. You have to read the fine print whenever you're approached by something like this. Frankly, the best thing to do is to avoid those altogether. 0% on loans and credit cards can lead us into a sense of getting something for nothing. Oh, we're going to buy this on time over a period of time and not have to pay anything for it. It can lure us into a false sense of security. If we're not careful and we don't read the fine print, we may be subject to some very expensive charges later on. Amazon is very good at doing this. Every time I purchase something on Amazon, there's a suggestion to take up on their credit card, and the credit card will allow you to save, say, $50 off of your current purchase. And that's nice, but now you've got a credit card, you've got somebody else you have to pay money in, and you're buying it on time or you're buying it over a period of time, and it's real easy to forget to make a payment, and now you're going to pay quite a bit on it. The typical statistic on this is 78% of people that sign up for credit cards like this will forget to do that and end up paying a certain percentage of interest, usually a pretty high percentage, on their purchase. Stores can also offer you a 10% off of your purchase if you get a credit card. And how does this work against frugality? Well, it's going to tempt you to look for all kinds of things to buy at that store because, like, wow, I'm getting 10% off of my final amount. So it looks like you're getting a very attractive offer, and it's really easy to just fall into that and end up spending more than you intended to. Other stores can also offer you 10% off for that day on a credit card. And once again, that can tempt you into spending more money at that store because you're going to look for other things to buy than was probably on your list in order to save a little bit of money on it. Hope had a great example of doing this way before she even had learned about credit cards. Before Hope and I started dating, she was dating a guy from her church named Gary. And Gary and her were at a clothing store, and she wanted to buy this really beautiful blue dress. And Gary talked her into buying it, and because she didn't have cash on her, he said, "Oh, just take out a credit card. That's no problem. You can always pay it off later." Well, Gary could say that because Gary's family was into a lot of money. Hope was not. She was making just a little above minimum wage and living on her own, and things were really tight for her. She ended up paying that off, but it was a very, very difficult thing to do. What she didn't know was that there was going to be interest applied to that credit card loan. She didn't know anything about those credit cards, as I mentioned. So when she got the actual payments that there were going to be, she was furious. So she never did that again. So she learned by making that mistake. If you like this topic and you're very interested in it, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, you're not part of the Frugal family, please hit that subscribe button and you'll see more videos like this in the future. If you want a free inside scoop on how to save money, Hope wrote a really good ebook on this called 10 Ways to Radically Reduce Your Expenses. We'll leave a link in the description of this video for that free ebook. Another way that stores and companies like to lure you in is to offer you free food and prizes. Now, Hope and I went for a deal like this way back in our early days. We needed a van, and we were replacing an old van that we had, and we needed to get a little bit better one. So we were looking for one. We went to the Oldsmobile dealership in our area, and you could test drive a Silhouette van for free with their deal and get some food and sign up for winning some prizes. That looked like a great deal. Well, the only thing about that, we got in that van and oh boy, did that salesman pour it on in terms of wanting us to buy the van. The high pressure salesman tactics were on in full bloom. And we ended up resisting that because we did not at that time take out loans for vehicles. So we resisted that offer. We didn't have the cash for the van. We were interested in the van. We were going to buy one later. We weren't ready to buy yet, but we kind of wanted to check them out. And the free food was, of course, a good deal. But he went on and on about the warranty plan, the brand new vehicle. This would be great. You know, it would meet your needs, and on and on and on he went. The prizes were kind of another deal about that. There were some really nice prizes, and there was one that was just kind of a thud. And of course, when you signed up for those prizes, they would pick whatever one that they were going to give you, and they always gave you the thud, you know, the one that was the cheapest one. I can't even remember what it was now, but it wasn't worth much. However, this did give us some interest in that type of a van, and later on we ended up buying a used Oldsmobile Silhouette van to replace our old one, and it was a good deal. We took about another 2 years to get the van that we ended up with. We spent a lot less money and we paid cash for it. We did not take out a loan for it. Another tactic that salesmen like to use is, what would you like to pay for your monthly payment? My advice to that would be, don't ever answer that question. Once you answer that question, you open the door for them to suggest amounts that you could pay for an item that you probably don't want to pay for it anyway. If you add up the amount that the item costs and you add all of those payments together, you'll see exactly what you would end up paying for that item. It's going to be quite a bit more than its original cost. So we don't even answer those kind of questions with people. We just say we don't take out loans. We don't do that. We save up and we pay cash. When we're ready to do that, we'll purchase the item that we decide to purchase. Another strategy is the 180 days as same as cash. Once again, that's another ploy to get you to take out a loan. Well, why do they want you to do that? Let's think about that a little bit. One of the things that we did, we put a bunch of new windows in our first house, and we had the cash for it. Hope talked the offer over with her father-in-law, and her father-in-law advised her to take out that 180 days same as cash loan, pay it off in 180 days, and the money in your savings account will then accrue that much more interest. At that time, savings accounts were giving a little bit more interest on their money than they are today. So it did make a little bit of a difference. But once Hope got to paying that, she got to reading the fine print. And if you missed a payment to that loan, or if you defaulted on it in any way, shape, or form, then you would pay the full APR going all the way back to that first payment. and you would end up paying a lot of money for those windows. So they had kind of a catch in there. And once again, as I said before, about 78% of people that take out these kind of loans will end up defaulting on them in some way or another, and they end up paying those interests. That's why they get these offers coming through. They do make quite a bit of money doing this. Of course, Hope and I always look for items on sale, and that can be a good thing, but it also can be tempting to make you buy something when maybe you're not ready to buy it. Maybe you're not ready financially to purchase an item, and it goes on sale, and you think, oh boy, I got to have that item right now, and I'm going to get a really good price on it by buying it now because it's cheaper. And sometimes it's just good to ignore those kind of deals until you're really ready to purchase that item. Menards offers 10% rebates, and we love going to Menards and taking advantage of the 10% rebates. But once again, this can be a ploy to get you into the store and spend more money because you're getting 10% off of everything that's going to go onto your receipt. If we go and we take advantage of Menards 10% offers, we make sure that we're buying exactly what we intended to buy and no more. That way we're really saving 10% and we're not spending a bunch of money on other stuff that we really don't need to be spending the money on. I'd love to hear your comments in the comment field. How do you feel about some of these tactics or ideas? And what do you do to prevent yourself from spending money and getting off of that frugal lifestyle that we so enjoy? Another ploy that stores use is $10 off of when you spend $50. And once again, this can be a very good thing if you're buying something that you already had planned on buying, but if you hadn't, this can be a way to lure you in and get you to spend money that you really weren't intending to. A lot of stores offer free stuff, like Sam's offers free food. You have all kinds of food all around the store that's given to you as samples. And it's fun to get those samples, but it might end up with you going all around the store in places that you wouldn't have gone before. And you're going to find items there that are going to look very tempting to buy. And you might be tempted to put those items in your shopping cart. That's one of the reasons why they do this. Of course, also, if you sample an item and you're hungry and that item tastes really good to you, you're probably going to buy that item. So that's another item that's going to be extra and thrown into your cart. We talked about a strategy that really ended up costing us quite a bit of money, and we did it twice. And that is the no obligation free demonstration offer. We did this 2 times. We did it once on a Kirby vacuum cleaner. Now, we needed a vacuum cleaner, and we had owned a used Kirby years ago when we were first married, and they are a very good high quality vacuum cleaner. They're built to last, but they're very expensive to buy new. Most of the time we would buy them used, still get a good vacuum cleaner, not pay an awful lot of money for it. But a gal came over and said, I'd love to show you our brand new vacuum cleaner. It's a self-propelled vacuum cleaner. This was the year 2000. In fact, it was a Kirby 2000 is what it was. And she said, I'd like to show it to you and let you use it and try it out and see how you like it. So we had her come over. She was just in college. She was a nice gal, real fun. We tried out the vacuum cleaner and we really liked it. We thought this would be so nice because it's powered forward and reverse. It was effortless to use. And that's one thing about Kirby's. They are heavy and big and they can take quite a bit of oomph to get them across your floor. So we ended up looking into it. We asked her, what do you want for the vacuum cleaner? And I think she went all the way up to $1,600. We got her talked way down in the price. Hope thinks it was around $800 that we spent on the vacuum cleaner, and that's probably pretty close. But we worked and worked with her until she got down to about that amount. We knew we couldn't buy one used because they had just come out with this type of vacuum cleaner, so we weren't going to find a used self-propelled Kirby vacuum cleaner. So we went ahead and bought it. And, you know, it's kind of funny. Just a few years ago, I saw one identical to it at our local Mission Mart thrift store, and I ended up paying $40, just $40 for the same vacuum cleaner in the same condition. I ended up giving that to our boys for their first apartment so they could have a nice vacuum cleaner. But having said all of that, that was 24 years ago that we bought that Kirby vacuum cleaner, and we still have it and we still use it. So it was a good vacuum cleaner for sure, but you don't have to pay that much money to have something to clean your floors with. The other item, and we've talked about this before, we really paid a boatload for it. We knew some friends of ours. This guy was a friend that Hope knew, and he was selling these really high-end Salad Master. They were a special kind of metal that went into them. I forget what all was. It was like 5 or 6 different metals bonded together to create this very special pan. And they were really expensive, but they were good pans. And he offered to give us a free meal and a free demonstration. And we thought, why not? Let's invite some friends over and we'll have a great time with that. So we invited our best friends over, and they were wanting to look at it. And here was the big selling point on the pans. Of course, you got the free meal and the free demonstration, so that was nice. But the big selling point was that they're so safe. They don't put anything back into your food. There's nothing that bleeds off of the metal. And we were using these real old aluminum pans that belonged to my mother's best friend. She had given them to her years ago. And they were just aluminum, and boy, did they put out a lot of black stuff into the water that I didn't know about. They boiled some water with our pans and then boiled some with the Salad Master pans, and what a difference. The aluminum pans, the water was horrible tasting. It looked gray. It had a funny color to it. And with the Salad Master pans, the water was clean. It tasted great. It was really nice. So it was really a good deal. Now, we still have the pans. We ended up buying them. But let me say, I think we spent about $1,600 on these pans. And it was a big set of pans. Quite a few different things. One of them was a rice cooker that Hope uses all the time. We still use it, and we like them. Here's one thing that's good about the pans. You can cook something in the pans, leave them on the stove for a couple hours with the burner off, and by golly, that food will still be hot 2 hours later. So they keep food warm for a long time. But I wouldn't recommend spending that much money for that kind of quality of panware, because you can buy the same kind of quality for a lot less. We got another set of pans. I can't remember the name of them right offhand, but we got them at a thrift store. Basically the same thing as the Salad Master, and brand new, they sell for about 1/10 of what the Salad Master pans sold for. So you can do a lot better by doing some homework. And we hadn't done our homework. We just thought, oh, we're going to have them over. They're going to demonstrate them, and a free lunch. It'll be fun. And no, we fell right into it. So it's really easy to fall for this stuff. Let us know if you've ever had something like that happen to you. It's certainly a good reminder of doing all of your homework, doing your research, and being very careful and taking your time when you're purchasing something. One of the things that I've kind of alluded to in this video is the idea of being debt-free. If you want to be debt-free and you're looking for our top frugal habits in order to be debt-free, we've got a video right over there that talks about that.